Hey guys, so this is probably gonna be the most like haphazard video you've ever seen because I'm on a really squeaky chair with lighting that's changing every minute or so, and I'm like watching Murphy on a baby monitor. But I wanted to share my weaning process, Murph and I's weaning process, because for one thing, I'm going to forget it pretty soon, and two, I really wanted to share what we did because Matt, come here, no one wants to see your butt. Come here. Because when I was getting, tips or advice or whatever when I was starting to wean Murphy, I felt like either the tips people were giving me weren't things I felt comfortable doing, or it was not going to work with Murphy. So to give you guys a little bit of background, she's almost 2 now. I've been breastfeeding her, since she was born, and she would never take bottles. So she was never into bottles ever. She's always been the kind of girl who wakes up probably about every 45 minutes. The longest stretch of sleep she's ever had was 3 hours, and that was as a newborn. And since she's been a year, she's been waking up, I'd say every 45 minutes. Sometimes she'd sleep for an hour, hour and a half, but she was waking up, 8 to 10 times a night, and we are co-sleeping. So she's right in between me and her dad, and I was exhausted. And she is the girl who's all or nothing. So there was no, nursing during the day, but saying, I hear people say, milk's not here until morning or whatever. And I'm like, God, I wish I could do that. But she would scream. She couldn't be distracted. I couldn't give her almond milk. I couldn't give her regular milk. I couldn't do anything to get her to stop wanting milk. It was me and milk or nothing. So from the very beginning, I've nursed her on demand, always nursing on demand. It got to be, a sense of comfort for her, but also a habit. So she thought every single time I wake up in the middle of the night, which is every single time Mom blinks, if I would blink, or I swear, if I would turn a little bit, she would wake up. And the only way she knew how to go back to sleep is me nursing her. We've tried, my husband would get up and carry her, but she would just scream, and I was not willing to let her scream. So that's one thing that I did, that I wasn't willing to do, that really made it harder for both of us because she had this habit. I wasn't willing to change anything to fix this habit, and so it was staying the same. So, after a year, she was still waking up every 45 minutes. Sometimes she'd sleep for an hour. I had to nurse her to sleep, which was taking 1 to 3 hours. 3 hours to nurse her to sleep. She'd nurse, and I would think that she was asleep, and she'd roll off, and I'm like, yes, this is it, I can go to the bathroom. And then she would sit up and she'd go and start playing, and I felt like I had been slapped in the face because I'm like, girl, I just nursed you for 45 minutes till you fell asleep. And then she would get up and go, and then when she would get tired, I'd be like, no, we're not playing right now, we're going back to bed. Put her back in bed with me, and she'd nurse again, and it'd be another 45-minute session or whatever, and then she'd do the same thing. And it was driving me insane. I was getting so agitated, you guys. So you always hear about nursing aversion or whatever, but I dreaded it. I loved the idea of breastfeeding her, and I wasn't willing to let her cry or really do anything else, but I was just stuck in this feeling of God, I hate this. And the whole time I was nursing her, I was just gritting my teeth and just not wanting to do it. I guarantee she could pick up on the energy, and then she was feeling me pull away, mentally, and she would want to nurse more. And it went from nursing all night to nursing all day long, and I would avoid sitting down because when we were at home, because I knew she would just come up to me, pull down my shirt, she'd pull down my shirt wherever we were. And it got to the point where I was so touched out that I couldn't do it anymore. And I was finding myself getting super grumpy with her. And I would yell, I would snap, I would lose my patience so quickly. And I'm like, this is not the mom that I want to be. This is not the mom that she deserves. She deserves a better mom than this. And I hated the way I was acting. And I thought, okay, I can't do this anymore. I cannot handle this anymore. It's up to me to change it. It's up to me to find some other way. So we started weaning in the day first. The day was easier for us because I was not willing to let her cry. We were still co-sleeping, and literally it was up to me at night, because of my choice and because of what Murphy was used to get her to sleep and get her to stay asleep. So I chose weaning during the day. That was relative. I mean, it only took a year, you guys, but it was easier. It didn't take that long to wean her during the day. I would say after the first, when I decided I was ready for it, there was just something about me actually being ready for it. We had tried to wean so long ago, like, you know, when she was a year, when she was about like 14, 15, 16 months, I kept trying, and I wasn't mentally ready for it. And so she could kind of, you know, she could sense that, and she could feel that. And I knew when I was going into something that I was either doing something I didn't want to do, or I was doing it in a way that I didn't feel comfortable doing it, and it didn't feel good and it didn't feel right. So I wasn't going to continue it. So it took me being ready, okay? So not, you know, obviously you want your child to be ready too, but you're the parent, and it's okay for you to be ready before your child's ready. It's okay. You know, Murphy can have love and affection, and she can have me holding her, and I had to tell myself that, you know, breastfeeding wasn't my only source of love and attention that I could give her. And I sort of mourned it, because I thought, this is all I have to give her. This is what I've been giving her whole life. If I stop this, she's not going to know that I love her. You know, we won't have our connection or whatever. I had to get over that. That wasn't her. Like, obviously she loves breastfeeding. She would do it till she's like 15. I guarantee she would have. But I didn't love it anymore. And it was okay that I didn't love it anymore. And I think telling myself that, I would look for answers everywhere, and I'd be like, well, it's, you know, your advice for weaning, da-da-da, but I wouldn't ever do it because I wasn't mentally ready to do it yet. It wasn't until I told myself that, hey, it's okay to not love breastfeeding anymore. It's okay to want to quit and to go for it and really quit. So, during the day, I started to get her on like a schedule with the same time for napping every day. So I could tell when she started to get tired, which was usually around 11 a.m. I'd pick her up, I'd turn on the fan in the kitchen, fan in the bathroom, as a little bit of white noise, and it started to be kind of like a routine. So she would know I'd pick her up, I'd go and I'd shut off, or turn on the fan, turn off the lights, and that was her cue. And then she fell asleep and I could lay her down. You guys, I could lay my child down. I didn't have to lay there with my breast, you know, in her hands or whatever anymore. And I'm like, crap, this is going to make me a better mom, because I get to pull away from her for, you know, 20 minutes or an hour, however long she slept. So we started during the day. And then, you guys, what changed everything at night is we bought her, hold on. You guys, do you love how professional this is? You got a nice, you know, full body view. Okay, we bought her a toddler bed. So she had never slept in a crib before, you guys. She slept between Mike and I her whole entire life. We bought her toddler bed. We, you know, took her to IKEA and let her, like, pick it out. There was 2 to choose from, so I'm like, girl, you know, have at it. She'd crawl into it. She was so excited. We set it up at home, got her a fun little comforter, let her, you know, get all cozy in there, bring her, like, bears and dolls in there. And the first night she wanted to sleep in there, you guys. So I was in there with her, and this is, she was still nursing. So I was in there with her. She, you know, nursed to sleep. And then I got up and I moved back to my bed. And I'm not even kidding you guys. I passed out. I had never slept so good in my entire life. And I usually wake up all the time because my body's used to waking up every 30 minutes or so. She slept from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., which was the longest that she had slept since she was like a couple months old. Like, it was insane, and I felt so much better. When she woke up in the middle of the night, I went and nursed her for, gosh, you guys, like a minute, and she fell asleep again. She was just kind of like, you know, where's mom? I did that for her because that's, you know, trying to ease this transition, make this transition easier for her. Went back to my bed. She woke up twice that night, you guys. Twice! I feel like I'm preaching, but for moms who aren't getting sleep and you're like going crazy and you're like always on edge and you're like grumpy, like that was me. And I was like, this is never going to end because I'm not willing to let her cry. Well, guess what? She didn't cry. She woke up in the middle of the night, whined for, 5 seconds, and she goes, come, and pets the bed next to her because I'm a dog. And I went and nursed, and she fell back asleep. Background music. But easy. So second night, and there were some nights where she, it took a lot longer to get her sleep. But what I would start to do is I would get in her bed with her, and I would say, okay, babe, I was like, we're not gonna, no milk tonight. And she still would want to like touch, which I let her because that's something that I was comfortable with. because it was a big move from me nursing for almost 2 years to not at all. So I like let her lay with me and let her touch my back, no drinking, you know, and then she'd fall asleep and then I'd go back to my bed. And there were some nights that I was too tired to stay in her bed. You know, sometimes it'd take her a while to fall asleep. I'd bring her into my bed, I'd let her sleep, put her back in her bed when she fell asleep. And I had to realize, okay, this is not going to be perfect every night. There's going to be a good night, there's going to be a bad night. But it's up to me to stay consistent with this. And since I was ready, you guys, it wasn't like tense, like, we're not nursing anymore. Like, you know when you do something where you don't really feel super good about doing it, so you go into it already tense, you know? And they can sense that. They're like bears. Like, they can sense it. They can smell the fear. And I was ready. So it wasn't bad. Like, yeah, some nights it might take a while to get her to sleep because she's a child, but she's not crying herself to sleep. She's with her mom. She's still like cuddling me and holding me and wants to like lay on top of me or whatever. And she goes to bed, sleeps in her big girl bed, and I go to my bed. Whew. Okay, so that was it, you guys. I know that this isn't going to work for everyone, but this is something that worked for me that no one had ever suggested, like, oh, do this. Everyone said, they're like, don't get a toddler bed, put her in a crib. Murphy would have lost her mind if I would have put her in a crib. There's no way she would have liked it. But I think that she saw something really new and exciting and helped kind of move her in a different direction and make the transition easier because she's in a big girl bed now. So it's been like a week since we've nursed, and I feel so much better, you know, and I realize now that, like I said, it took me to be ready for it, but she's fine. Like, one thing that really held me back from weaning for so long is that I said she wasn't ready. But if you give a child the choice to tell you when they're ready or not, she's never going to be ready. Murphy wants chocolate for breakfast. She doesn't always know what's best for her. Like, it was up to me. And whatever I was comfortable with is something that she would be comfortable with. And now she feels good. Now she's sleeping, you know, right now on her own. And I'm, you know, 200 feet away, still watching her. But she would never do this before. So I wanted to share this. If you guys have any questions or anything, like literally ask me anything. I searched far and wide for just someone to just tell me what to do, even though when they told me I wouldn't listen. But I think I just needed to hear that it's okay to be done. You know, it's okay to be done. When, like, I started to feel jealous when my friends had told me they had weaned, and I'm like, God, dude, your kid's younger than mine. If you already weaned, like, I was so jealous. But you can do this, and it's your choice. It's going to be fine. It can be fine. You don't have to, you know, cry it out if you're not comfortable with that. I wasn't comfortable with that, and I found a way that worked for me, and I really hope that this just helps one mom who's sleeping, you know, in 30-minute increments and losing her damn mind and wanting to just be done and feeling touched out all day. Like, I can give Murphy so much, like, more concentrated, fun, exciting, like, happy times with her mom now because I'm not trying to escape all day. I'm not zoning out on my phone because I'm just wanting so bad to just not be touched and to be away. So if you feel that way, you know, it's normal, but it means that something needs to change. So whatever you feel comfortable with. But yeah, that's it. If you guys want, you know, to know anything else or have any questions, let me know. But let me know if you guys are weaning. Like, I would love to hear what you're doing that works. I literally thought it was impossible, and I thought I was going to have to wait until she told me, you know, when I was dropping her off at high school, and she's like, hey, I think I'm done. That's what I thought we had in store for us. So it can happen, you guys. It's up to you and anything. I feel like a motivational speaker, but this is a big thing, okay? But yeah, let me know what's working for you guys. All right, bye.